It's time for the Landrum Football Coaches Show with head coach Mike Reid on Upstate Prep-Cast. This show presented by Teddy Laster Racing Stables. In addition to the Briar Patch of Campobello, Inman Fast Stop, Pool Time and Supplies of Bowling Springs, Peach Country of Campobello. And now from the Southside Smokehouse and Grill in Landrum, South Carolina, your hosts Steve Roper and Kevin Jackson with head coach of the Landrum Cardinals, Mike Reid.
Good evening, Cardinal fans, and welcome to this week's edition of the Landrum Cardinal Football Coaches Show on Upstate Prep-Cast, presented by Teddy Laster Racing Stables. I'm Steve Roper, joined by my co-host and producer Kevin Jackson, Mr. Rob McIntyre on the camera, and we're here live at the Southside Smokehouse and Grill in Landrum, along with head coach Mike Reid of the Landrum Cardinals. Coach, it was a rough outing last week. Yep. Nice little, jump down the highway there and came out on the short end, but a lot of feistiness shown, though.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it a couple weeks ago, when we was talking about, wear shows. We kind of did it again where we shot ourselves in the foot. First play of the game, we throw a little quick screen, and Hayden takes it 78 yards, gets tackled on the 2, but we blocked behind the ball again, and now the ball's on the 35, and we didn't end up scoring. So, that hurt us, and we blocked the field goal in the next possession, and we ended up hurdling the offensive line, which you can't do. And instead of having the ball on our 40-yard line, we had to play another down, and then we stopped them and had the ball on the 10. So, just those penalties are absolutely killing us.
Well, Coach, things kind of started off, it's almost as if just bad luck right from the start. West Oak's first offensive series of the game, we've had them in third and long, 3rd and 5 three times, and we let them get loose with lining up off sides and jumping off sides. I mean, we just couldn't catch a break early on, and it just seemed to snowball after that.
Yeah, I mean, I've said it kind of week after week, you got to be mentally sharp, and, you just got to be conscious of where you're at on the field. I mean, Carson, he just lined up off sides. You got to look in there, see the ball, see where you're lined up. It's all being mentally sharp and being, making sure you're conscious of kind of where you're at on the field.
To illustrate what kind of night that it was, there was actually a pass late in the fourth quarter where it bounced in and out of two of our guys. Great play by the defensive back there. But our guy had it, he knocked it out, it bounced around, and we just couldn't get it. It was just like that kind of night. The football gods just did not shine on us whatsoever. Well, what did you take away from it, Coach, as far as the effort and injuries?
I mean, our effort, I feel like we always play hard. We're not going to go out there and just, not give it our best. Sometimes our best isn't good enough. But, I do feel like, we could have played a little harder this Friday night. I'm not going to sit there and say we played the best we could. But, our guys battled until the end. I mean, the last 3 minutes of the game, we had no points. And then, we kind of got a little life and, scored 16 points. And, so that was good to see that we fought, even when we were down by 36. So seeing them coming back and, not giving up, and fighting the whole 48 minutes, that's the biggest thing I came from it. And, injury-wise, we're kind of where we're still at. I mean, we got some guys that's coming back. We got a couple more guys that, they got some bumps and bruises and trying to get them healed up for next Friday.
We're starting to get into the meat of the schedule here in the coming weeks. And number-wise, we don't have a whole lot of players. But on the 2A level, you're going to find that with a lot of your opponents also. Yep. But last week, we really did run into a team that wasn't in the media anyway. I know you did your scouting, but in the media anyway, this was not the team that the media portrayed them to be.
Well, I mean, when you watch them on film, you can tell they can run the ball, and they've got some big guys, had some big guys up front that, when you play high on the defensive line, they're going to roll you out of there, and they did.
They had one guy, number 65, that was about 6'5".
Yeah. And we tried to make those corrections this week. You can't play high, when you're playing offense and defensive line, and some of our guys did, and they found out real quick that you're going to get rolled off the ball if you stand straight up. So
I guess you could say the bottom line was, folks, it was their homecoming, and they were fired up and ready to take on Landrum High School. And, hey, we congratulate the victors, and that's just the way it is. You know, coming up, folks, we'll be back to break down a little more about the Cardinals' opponent this week, and we're going to interview a couple of players that the coach has brought along with an assistant coach. So you don't want to miss that. You're listening to the Landrum Cardinals Football Coaches Show, sponsored by Teddy Laster Racing Stables here at the Southside Smokehouse and Grill.
There's nothing better than award-winning jumbo wings while you watch great sports programming on huge flat screens at Wings Etc. Grill and Pub. If you love wings and a whole menu of great food and drink options, come to Wings Etc. for lunch, dinner, and snacking, and lots of HDTV sports. And now, when you can't eat and watch the game here, order online for pickup at togo.wingsetc.com. It's fast, easy, and convenient. Wings Etc. Grill and Pub, good food, great times, and online ordering at togo.wingsetc.com.
Do you have a tree problem? Look no further than JB Trees LLC. At JB Trees LLC, we strive to provide a wonderful experience with professional service marked by excellence, all at reasonable prices. Schedule your free estimate today by calling 864-497-8511. That's 864-497-8511, or visit us online at jbtreesllc.com. JB Trees LLC, where your vision meets our expertise.
Are you concerned about the economy, interest rates, or current market conditions? For timely information based on sophisticated research, call Raymond James Financial Advisor Tom Dixon at 864-582-1611. He can discuss your specific needs and help to provide you with investment choices that make sense for you. Call Tom at 582-1611 in Spartanburg for an appointment. Raymond James Financial Service, member FINRA, SIPC. Life well planned.
The Flounder Seafood Restaurant, located at 160 Barbado Lane in Spartanburg, opens every Wednesday through Saturday at 3:30 p.m. Serving the upstate since 1969, they have been twice voted Spartanburg's best seafood restaurant. Everything at the Flounder is fresh and homemade, from their specialty stews to their famous hash and their signature flounder. Visit the website at flounderfishcamp.com. Come visit the Flounder, where there is a line, but it moves quickly. The Flounder at 160 Barbado Lane. Give them a call at 864-576-3165.
All right, welcome back to the Southside Smokehouse and Grill in Landrum for the Landrum Cardinals Football Coaches Show. I am joined with a nice young player here. He's made an impact in the trenches. He's just a sophomore, but he stepped into a key role on the offensive line. Please welcome Mr. Robbie Medvar, and joining him is the man who leads the offensive line unit, Coach Dylan Threadgill. Coach, I'm going to start with you. What has Robbie brought to you into the rotation, stepping into a starting role here as a sophomore?
He's just brought, you know what you're going to get with him. He's been consistent. He knows what he's doing. He is prepared every week, and that's all you can ask for from these guys up front.
Robbie, what's it been like stepping in as a sophomore on the Friday Night Lights?
I feel like it's honestly been tough, but the seniors on the team, they've kind of helped me in a big way, and then Coach Threadgill has really taught me, how to fill those roles.
That was going to be my next question. Have the older guys stepped in and offered some leadership for you? And by learning and listening to them as you grow, can you transform that into next year, if you're back, of course, and you'll be in that leadership role as a junior next year? So this year you're taking it all in. So let me ask you this. When was the first game that you got in this year in seeing, you saw some action, but getting into that starting role?
Honestly, it started back when we scrimmaged Broome.
Mm-hmm.
They had a big D-line, and I feel like I've kind of got whooped that game, but I definitely learned from it since then.
Well, we are ashamed that you've kind of flown under the radar on us, along with our other guests this evening. We've called the names out a few times, but hey, we're old and we don't see so well from that old press box anymore, but we're going to be keeping an eye on you for sure now. And Coach, how has Robbie grown as a young player in this group?
We were actually talking about it in the coach's office the other day. Just for some background, Robbie started off in the JV locker room this year and was expected to be a JV player, and man, he has done nothing but get better each week. He never complained. He worked his butt off. And, I mean, he just made it to where we couldn't not have him on the field. And I've been super impressed with his work ethic and just how he handled everything throughout this whole time.
So his consistency and reliability has really paid off in the rotation that the offensive line has undergone this season so far. And stepping up from that JV locker room out onto the Friday Night Lights, Robbie, really is a big deal for a young man your age. I mean, how do you feel about that? How do you handle it?
Honestly, I just try to put my head down and work every day, because I know I'm undersized and there's going to be guys stronger, bigger than me. I just got to take what we do in practice and translate it to game.
So, Robbie, if you could tell us, who are some of these older players that you look up to for support on a Friday night and things get tough? Who can you look to for an encouraging word, whether it's a player or a coach?
Yeah, I mean, you got Blake, Maddox, Corbin, all those guys been helping me. I don't have no words to describe them. They helped me a lot.
Well, Coach, back to you. We've moved a lot of guys in and out this year due to injuries and a lot of other factors and such. So how do we stand? I mean, last week your guys had to go up against a very sizable offensive line. I mean, those guys were the real deal. And you guys handled it well. But, I mean, of course, we came out on the short end, but still, I mean, they fought to the bitter end. How are we looking? Let's just not look at this week or next week, but with these young guys in the future, plus what's coming along, what have we got something to build upon up front?
100%. I think it's a work in progress this season. There's a lot of things that we're still trying to get better on day by day, but man, I've seen such an improvement from especially these young guys, and how much just from week one until now, how much they've improved. And if they continue to take it seriously, man, we really do. The sky's the limit for this group in a few years. And I mean, we're looking at right now in the present, but I've just been so impressed with these young cats and how much they just worked their tails off this year.
Looking further back than these young guys, I happened to see you and Coach Reid last Saturday at the Youth Association football games, and that's where the seeds are planted. And I see that you guys are involved with that, but getting those seeds involved with children in the community that want to play organized sports or organized football in this case, keeping them involved, learning the techniques and stuff, it all starts there. And then you keep them into the cycle and such.
Yes, sir.
Did you participate in youth sports here or Landrum? Or?
I did. Actually, I didn't. I played against some. I went to Chapman, but I played against them. And
so you played in the Inman youth, but still, we've got you now.
Yes, sir.
He bleeds Cardinal red, Kevin. So we've transformed one. Coach, I thank you for showing up this week, Robbie. And Robbie, it's great meeting you, and we look forward to calling your name out a lot more on Friday nights now, young man. Kevin, anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I think you touched on it, but it's impressive. Again, you said due to injuries and trying to find the right mix, but every week when I prepare that slide to show the starters, Robbie Medvar, I think it's been on there every week, if I'm not mistaken, at that left guard position. So that's impressive to be able to say and do that, even if you're a senior, but much less to be a sophomore. So just an impressive effort, and by Robbie so far this season. We're halfway done. Looking forward to see what you do in the second half.
All right, guys, when we come back, we'll talk with wide receiver and defensive back Ian Patterson, and Coach Reid will join us again to share his thoughts on Ian's impact this season so far. You're watching the Landrum Cardinals Football Coaches Show on Upstate Prep-Cast, presented by Teddy Laster Racing Stables.
Hey guys, this is Todd Waddell with Upstate Prep-Cast. When the storm hits, trust the guys who've got you covered. Guy Roofing. For over 50 years, they've been protecting homes and businesses across the Carolinas with a quality you can see and a name you can trust. From inspections to full replacements, their team is fast, reliable, and built on integrity. Visit GuyRoofing.com today. Guy Roofing. Protection you can count on.
Call 864-578-4594 for your consultation today.
Discover the power of Mahindra at Mahindra of the Upstate, located at 4951 Chesney Highway in Chesney. We're your one-stop destination for top quality tractors. Mahindra, the #1 best-selling tractor in the world, is now within your reach. Take advantage of our low-rate financing options, making your dream tractor more affordable than ever. Visit our website at sctractor.com or call 864-461-2515. Mahindra of the Upstate, the official tractor of tough.
Jeff Parks and his team of experienced real estate professionals at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services see Dan Joyner are lifelong football fans, and they know for a successful football team on any level, you must have great coaching and a good game plan. The same goes when purchasing or selling a home. Let the Spartanburg office at 170 Camelot Drive be your coach with the right game plan and strategy to make your real estate purchase go like a championship winning season. Contact Jeff Parks at 864-415-0336. Berkshire Hathaway, see Dan Joyner of Spartanburg. See danjoyner.com.
This is Pastor Tyler from View Church. We're located in Bowling Springs at 5555 Paris Bridge Road. If you've been turned off by religion, been discouraged or hurt by church, or maybe you just thought church was boring, you should give View Church a try. It's a place like none other. The people are genuine, the spirit is obvious, and God is moving in this place. Visit our website for times and direction at viewchurch.org.
All right, welcome back to the Southside Smokehouse and Grill, the Landrum Cardinals Football Coaches Show. I'm joined with Ian Patterson, plays on both sides of the ball for the Cardinals. He's a versatile athlete, wide receiver and defensive back. Welcome, Ian, and join us again is head coach Mike Reid to share his perspective on Ian's role. Coach, what can you tell us about this versatile player you brought this evening?
Well, you know, Ian's he's had a great season so far. He's another one of our young, promising guys. We knew going into this offseason that we were going to be counting on him on both sides of the ball. And he came to work all summer, and he was there, you know, almost every day. And we knew that, you know, he was going to play a big role, and he does. This past week, he was in on several tackles, broke up a couple passes. I think he had almost 80 yards of receptions on Friday night. So he's helping us tremendously on both sides of the ball. And the amount of growth that he's had since week one to now has been pretty substantial.
Defensively, Ian, you had several good breakups. And offensively, we were just speaking a moment ago about the impossible juggling catch that nobody could seem to get in, you know, but that was a wild play if you get a chance to go back and watch it on our broadcast of that. But it's just kind of indicative of how it went that night. We just couldn't grasp it. But anyway, well, what'd you come out of this game thinking after a tough loss like that?
It's just, it happens. We weren't in the right mindset, I feel like, from us getting there to halftime. And then I felt like towards the end of the third quarter, going to the fourth quarter is when we actually started to focus. But at that point, it was just too late.
What do you think that your biggest strength is that you bring to, let's say, first with the offensive side of the ball at receiver? You've had a lot of good targets your way this year, and you've made some very clutch catches, Coach. I've seen him, you know, on especially diving catches on the end. You've pulled them up, you know, sideline antics going on. I mean, what's your mindset there? I mean, you're snagging them this year, son.
Really just focusing on watching the ball all the way in to the tuck and not trying to work upfield before securing the catch.
When you're on the defensive side of the ball, do you think having played on the offensive side of the ball at receiver kind of gives you a little heads up on maybe how this opponent may be fixing to break after you've watched enough film and things? Does it give you a little bit of advantage?
Mm-hmm, for sure.
Do you know offhand how many fumble recoveries you might have had this year? None? One?
Actually,
I think you've had two.
I think I've had one. I think it was one against Briar.
How about INTs, interceptions?
One.
And touchdowns on the offensive side? These are things I should know, but I like to know what they know.
Two.
So that's pretty good stats considering, you know, Kevin, last year and the year before that, this was a very run-oriented program. And so you've got a couple of years coming by where you just weren't really training receivers up here. And you guys are catching. Last year was a great improvement. This year, you guys are really snagging them. And you and Mr. Nesbitt have made some great catches. And I've been very impressed with that part of the receiver course this year, Coach. And toss in Hayden there also.
Yeah, I mean, our receiving group, we're excited about those guys. You talk about Trey and Ian, they're both sophomores, so we've got those guys for a while, and then you got Hayden, who's really come on strong, and then of course Braylon, when he's not playing running back, he's out there, and Cooper Tidwell. I mean, we've got a pretty good stable of receivers, and we trust all those guys, and we put them out there. They're going to do what they're supposed to do.
Growth-wise for Ian, Coach, what have you seen from last year to this?
Just, I mean, it's a big transition when you're playing JV and then you go to varsity, and just him, he's learning each week. He's getting better each week, and he's learning what to do each week. And that's what it takes. You're a young player, and you're not going to know everything when you first get out there on varsity. But he's learning, and he's getting better every week.
Ian, you got any personal goals you set for the beginning of the season and throughout your career coming up?
Not really. Just trying to do my own thing, see what I can do.
Just be a team player, and everything will fall into place.
Yeah.
All right, Ian and Coach, thank you for joining us. And fans, in just a few minutes, we'll be back. We'll talk about this week's opponent, the Blue Ridge Tigers, with Coach Mike Reid. We're here at the Southside Smokehouse and Grill in Landrum, the Landrum Cardinal Head Coaches Football Show. Stick around.
So I switched my insurance to State Farm, and get this. I talked to an actual State Farm agent who lives in my actual town. And get this. My actual agent in my actual town gave me actual help with the coverage I needed. And get this. My actual agent in my actual town who gave me actual help actually knows my name. And get this. They actually say it's called service.
Call Agent Chad Wagner, Asheville Highway, Spartanburg, 585-7999.
All right, guys, 30-second commercial for GSP Security. You ready?
Yeah, go ahead, Tom.
No, it's your turn to go. I did the last one.
No, this one's yours.
Man, I've already got a security system from GSP Securities. You're the one that needs to talk about this.
Well, you can talk about it because I don't know anything about it, so you tell me.
I've got cameras, I've got motion detectors, I've got everything that I need to be safe at my house.
Oh, come on.
All right, forget it. Y'all both forget it. Just go to www.callgsp.com today to request a free quote.
Warrior Tree Service, your go-to tree experts. Family owned and operated since 2020, offering service from tree removal to tree trimming and stump grinding. At Warrior Tree Service, we handle it all. When nature strikes, count on us to clean up the mess and restore your property back to normal. Visit our website at warriortreeservicesc.com. To get a free estimate, call 864-278-2555. Warrior Tree Service, where nature thrives, we revive.
This is Steve Roper,
Kevin Jackson,
at Upstate Prep-Cast, and I tell you what, folks, you don't have to feel a financial strain from a clogged drain. Just call the MVP of plumbers. That's Mike Verner's Plumbing, proudly celebrating their 40th year of service to the Carolinas. Mike Verner's Plumbing has you covered in all situations, whether it's commercial or residential. So if your toilet's on the fritz and you really need to take a...
Hold everything. Folks, call the MVP of plumbers today at 864-472-8756. Mike Verner's Plumbing of Inman.
When you need trusted legal guidance, experience matters. For decades, the Stevens Law Group has been serving people right here in South Carolina. Your neighbors, your friends, your community. They handle all areas of family law with skill and compassion, helping clients navigate life's most important decision. Call 864-598-9172 or visit scfamilylaw.com today. The Stevens Law Group, local experience with a focus on family.
Hi, this is Ron Hawkins with Next Home Experience Realty. For over 30 years, I've been helping people buy and sell homes. Whether you're looking for new construction, buying your very first home, searching for that perfect investment property, or selling a home you've loved for years, call or text me at 864-415-5792 or visit my online site at spartanburghomes.net. I am Ron Hawkins, your trusted realtor in the Upstate, turning for sale into sold for over 30 years.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Southside Smokehouse and Grill here in Landrum, South Carolina, the Landrum High School Coaches Football Show. Head coach Mike Reid to my left here this evening. And, Coach, it's the Blue Ridge Tigers. Yep. We're going to travel up yonder and take them on, see what goes. How's it going to be? Tell us a little something about those Tigers.
Well, it's always a good game when Landrum and Blue Ridge are playing. It's a rivalry game, and we're about 15 minutes apart from each other, and a lot of these kids know each other. They're going to be Blue Ridge. They're going to want to run the ball. We got to be good. We got to be really good at stopping the run. They've got a really good running back. They seem to always have one. Last year, they had I think he was an all-state running back. He's graduated, thankfully, but they have another kid that steps in and looks like he's just as good. So he runs the ball very well. He runs it hard. The quarterback, he's essentially another running back there, but he can throw it too. But he's got some legs on him. He can run. He's a quick kid. Their offensive line, they're big up front. And they're nasty. Coach Boggs, he does a great job over there with those guys, but we got to make sure we stop the run if we're going to win Friday night.
Sounds like you're expecting a very physical matchup up front at least, and that's going to kind of set the tone of the game. Much like last week, if we don't win these battles up front,
this could be a long night.
It could be a long night. Well, we hope it's not a long night. You got some players that learned valuable lessons in the last couple of weeks. So what are you most looking forward to seeing out of this matchup this week from your team's perspective anyway?
Well, for me and us at Landrum, I want to see how we respond to the way we played last week. How are we going to come out this week? How are we going to compete? Because I feel like we came out flat last week, and I'm hoping this week we respond well and we're ready to play some football on Friday night.
Well, I got a feeling it's been so far a very strenuous practice for the Cardinals this week.
Yeah, we've amped up the physicality a little bit.
Okay, Kevin, I think you've got a question for the coach.
Well, as the old saying says, it's going to be one of those games with two teams close proximity. If you're not on fire, your wood's wet.
Yep.
And we're looking forward to it. Being such close proximity, we kind of think we want our viewership to kind of suffer this week because we want everybody to come out to Blue Ridge and be there to cheer on the Cardinals. And because they're going to have a big crowd over there, they always do. And Coach, one thing this week in practice through your physicality and all that is addressing the penalties. Again, the penalties. Every time we get something going, especially last week, and it just seemed like at the most inopportune times. It does. What have you been doing to try and address with that, and what can you do about that?
I mean, you continue to talk about the importance of being mentally sharp. We've got some punishments that we're doing, to hopefully make them understand, this is something we've got to get fixed, and it's got to get fixed now. And they're not big fans of the punishment.
I remember those days too, and I'm getting chill bumps even thinking about it.
Yeah, so we're trying to fix those things. We're trying to make them, aware of why, we harp on these penalties because, like I said earlier in the show, you're doing things and you're not losing just the 5 or 15 yards. You're losing 30 yards because it's from the spot of the foul. So it's affecting your position on the field.
Especially there was a time when we had to punt and had the penalty before. There was a difference of 20 yards after the punt.
Right, and
when you're trying to flip the field. So
right, and it's like the field goal we blocked. Instead of having the ball on our 35, now we stop them. That's great. That's all fine and great. But they got an extra down, and now we have the ball on the 12-yard line, and we're having to drive the whole field instead of being on our side or their side of the field. It's just a big difference. You're talking about 50-yard difference.
They had a very, very good running back last week. Are we going to face anything like that this week?
Honestly, I believe the Blue Ridge running back's better. I do. He runs. He's a fast kid. He runs behind his pads, and we better be ready to come to the party.
Last week, just prepping for this, last week I think their running back yardage-wise didn't have as much, but then their quarterback ran for 200-something yards, 3 touchdowns. Right. So if 1 and 2 for them, it's getting 1 and 2 healthy and on the field. That's their numbers, and if they show up, they feel like they've got a real good shot.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, folks, we hope that you show up over at Blue Ridge High School this Friday night and support the Cardinals. And if you can't make it, be sure and listen to us right here on Upstate Prep-Cast, bringing you all the action live, wire to wire, Kevin. We want to thank Coach Reid, Robbie Medvar, Coach Dylan Threadgill, and Ian Patterson for joining us tonight. And thank you, Coach, and Cardinal fans for tuning in. Kevin?
Before we close, we always want to give a special thanks to our sponsors, our local sponsors here of the Landrum Football Coaches Show. Special thanks again to our title and primary sponsor, Teddy Laster Racing Stables. Also to the Briar Patch Quick Stop of Campobello, Inman Fast Stop, Pool Time and Supplies of Bowling Springs, and Peach Country of Campobello. And again, if you'd ever want to become a sponsor of the Coaches Show here or help donate to our local production or partner with us, check out our website, www.upstateprepcast.net/Landrum.
All right, fans, be sure and join us Friday evening. If you can't make it to the ball game over at Blue Ridge High School, Tune in to Upstate Prep-Cast with Kevin Jackson, myself, and Rob McIntyre. Game time is at 7:30. We'll come on, I think, about 6:45, Kevin. For Kevin Jackson, Rob McIntyre, I'm Steve Roper, and the head coach of the Landrum Cardinals, Mike Reid, who leaves us with...
Go Cards.